Drew Cain's storyline on General Hospital has been one of the most controversial, tension-filled, and emotionally complex arcs on the canvas lately, with the character experiencing a dramatic reversal of fortune that has kept fans talking and guessing about what comes next. In recent episodes, Drew, once a powerful and ambitious force in Port Charles, has found himself trapped in a nightmare scenario that has shifted the balance of power surrounding him. Not long ago, he survived not just one, but two gunshots to the back, an event that stunned the canvas and left viewers anxious about his survival and future role in the story. Surviving physical violence, however, has not brought Drew peace. After being shot, he didn't simply lie unconscious. He was incapacitated through the actions of Drew Cain, his estranged wife, and the person who has become his greatest tormentor. Rather than letting the injury be the end of the conflict, Drew made the calculated decision to use a drug that leaves Drew fully conscious but unable to move or speak, effectively locking him inside his own body. This condition has transformed Drew's struggle from one of physical survival to a deeply psychological and emotional battle. As he grapples with awareness of his surroundings but no ability to respond, his situation mirrors a kind of living imprisonment, forcing him to confront the consequences of his choices while remaining a dangerous political and personal pawn for others in Port Charles. Drew's fall from political grace has been steep and bitter. Once a congressman with allies and enemies alike, he has been maneuvered into a situation where those closest to him, friends, family, and even former rivals, must face the reality of what his continued presence means for their lives. The power dynamic has shifted dramatically, whereas once he loomed large as a man feared and resented in equal measure, he now lies vulnerably at the center of a web spun by others. This ironic turn of events has given different characters in Port Charles a chance to rethink their relationships with him, revisit old grievances, or double down on grudges that have simmered for years. At the same time, Drew's inability to communicate has introduced unique tension in the story. In recent episodes, viewers have seen him make subtle attempts to signal to others, including Alexis Davis, in hopes of conveying a warning or grabbing someone's attention. These moments create a dramatic undercurrent of suspense, as the audience watches a once dominant man reduced to signaling with his eyes, trying to affect outcomes he can no longer influence directly. There's an added intrigue in the way these attempts at communication hint at layers of truth and danger that others in Port Charles have yet to fully understand or uncover. Complicating matters further is the fact that those around him are jockeying for position, advantage, and control. Willow, who shot him, has walked free in court, her acquittal sparking outrage and disbelief among viewers and characters alike. Because of double jeopardy rules, she cannot be tried again for the shooting, placing Drew in a horrifying bind, where the woman responsible for his paralysis now wields significant power over his care, and potentially his reputation. Her motivations, driven by a desperate bid to regain custody of her children and reshape her own future, add layers of moral ambiguity and emotional complexity that make the storyline resonate far beyond a simple villain-victim dynamic. While Drew's physical condition is dire, the question of whether he will ever regain agency or speech continues to loom large. Writers have teased that there may be more for him to contribute to the larger mystery surrounding Port Charles, including how his fate intersects with political machinations, the custody battles involving Wiley and Amelia, and broader conspiracy threads involving other central players. His possible influence on future decisions about power, control, and family alliances suggests that even in his incapacitated state, Drew remains dangerously relevant. Fans of the show have had mixed reactions to Drew's arc. Some revel in the comeuppance of a character whose actions have alienated many, while others appreciate the dramatic depth and narrative possibility his condition introduces. Either way, Drew Cain's journey from high-powered politician to a man trapped in his own body has created some of the most gripping storytelling on General Hospital in recent memory. As the canvas continues to unfold, questions linger about whether Drew will find a way to break free, whether justice will ever catch up to those responsible for his plight, and how his fall from grace will ultimately ripple through the lives of the many characters whose paths he has crossed in Port Charles.